Hey guys, this is Randall Root, and in this video we're going to look at members and levels. So the way MDX is organized is you have dimensions, like the dim stores, you have a, a list of one or more attributes, and each attribute forms a individual hierarchy. The hierarchy is made of the individual members of that particular attribute. So the store has these various different stores. Plus, there's a all level that forms basically a little pyramid structure. So you have a root level, that's all, and then you have the various different members. Now, if I were to go through and say I'd like to have sales quantity, so for example, I have this here at 14. I could say, okay, I want to have sales quantity. And I want to multiply that, or show that based on the stores. Now that's the dimension dot, and then I want the level, or excuse me, the attribute hierarchy. It looks like I should have just drug that over directly. And I don't really have a level here, so I'll just go ahead and take that off. And I can ask for all members. Includes my grand total. Kind of funny, if I go through and I use that previous function up there, or that previous query up there, it looked like this without the all members. With this, it actually is implied. I'll get all the members anyway. Let me take this one back to what we have above, like this, or above to what we have down below. And you can see that at the hierarchy level, it's really not working that well. Oops. So I've asked for the all member. I've asked for an individual member. And I'm using the built-in property to ask for all members. So I'm navigating through the individual dimensions, hierarchies, and levels. And again, the pattern is, come on, go back. Back. There we go. I think I was back to where I had first started messing with it. The pattern is you specify the dimension, you specify the hierarchy, you specify the level, and then if you want to use a property or function, you can do so. And occasionally, not specifying a property or function, like all members, you'll occasionally actually be able to get all the data implicitly by just running it. This is actually the same. That's because levels will automatically show all their members. Now I gotta say, the rules are confusing, but in general, you just kind of keep playing with it until you get it to work, and you will get there. Just keep in mind that dimensions, hierarchies, and levels form a chain, and that when you're trying to find something or display something, you want to keep that sequence in mind. Now, to make things more interesting, turns out that you can actually leave off certain parts of that sequence. So for example, let's say I look at dim titles, and I go to the title attribute. So I have dimension and I have a attribute hierarchy. Remember that each individual attribute for the hierarchy, because there's always the all level. And I get back the grand total of that the individual attributes. Now I can also go through and say, okay, I want to see the publisher and publishers, and let's take a look at this for just a second. Now up here I specified the attribute title there, and down here I specify the attribute publisher. Notice that I get the grand total. But if I go ahead and specify a level, because the sequence is dimension, hierarchy, level, member, and levels automatically return all the results. How fun is that? So navigating through the system can be a little tricky, as you can see. One other thing is that when you're using a custom hierarchy, like these titles by type, it's a custom hierarchy. It gives me the grand total, and then I just need to specify a level. Oops, I guess I just dragged it in. Specify a level to get the implied all members. So it's definitely interesting. It's definitely interesting. One thing to keep in mind is that you can also specify only part of the path, and sometimes it'll just figure it out. So for example, if I go through and I say dimension and I get rid of the hierarchy, I just put level. Often it can find it. If it can't be confused, it will go there. Oops, actually, what happened there? Oh, that's right. It thought it was the hierarchy. Well, that's because it is, because there's an attribute hierarchy there. It would actually be title. If I want to see a breakdown. Yeah, I know. It's kind of crazy. Let's see here. What happens if I leave off the dimension? Cool. That one it figured out. Title by type was a hierarchy. Title was a level. I was able to figure it out. Now what happens if I leave off the hierarchy and just go for the level? Got a value, but what it did was it went through and saw that that was the attribute hierarchy that was available, and of course it just gave me the grand total, because I'm not actually looking at the level, I'm looking at the hierarchy. I'd have to go dot titles, subtitle, to be able to form the level, because it's ambiguous. The name shows up too many times. You have to be specific. Now I know when I first learned this, it was like just craziness. It just seemed like the rules were just so random. They're not really random, but they are complex. So give yourself a break. Have some compassion for yourself, and just take some time to work with it. MDX is not the most straightforward language. You'll find though that with time and a little patience, you'll be able to navigate through and work with things quite easily. Okay, that's enough for now. I'll talk to you in the next video, which is going to look at dealing with those null values. Sometimes you get a chunk of those, and it's nice to figure out how to work with them. Until then, see you later.